Have you ever wondered how people in America ordered more adult-oriented animation after seeing the premiere of South Park in 1997? Well, boy, do I have a book for you. This is the Viz Shop by Mail Spring and Summer 1997 catalog. That's right, a book to order anime through the mail, to order anime on VHS and Laserdisc to be specific, as well as CDs and, you know, other things like manga and t-shirts, what have you. This is how weebs got official anime back in the day. Sure, you could go to a comic shop, or you could go to Suncoast, or maybe you had a friend that had fan subs, or maybe there was a creepy hobo down the street that was very shady but somehow had all the latest Ranma tapes. One way or another, this was the best way to get it sent to your house without dealing with humans. And we don't want human contact in this house. We want our anime sent to us without speaking to a soul. And this is the way to do it. You could give them a call on the phone, you could fax them your order, or you could send it in the mail. This was a great source, and in and of itself, this book is anime merch, right? It's got all kinds of anime in it. So for people that were like myself, quite young, or people that just didn't have a lot of money, even this was a source of entertainment. So let's take a look at this thing and go back to spring and summer 1997 and see what it's like to be a weeb during a time that the Spice Girls ruled the world. So for starters, it's pretty awesome to see these things still in modern day. I'm so glad I held on to this thing. I sent in a card or something like that in the mail, and I've had this ever since then. I was a wee little weeb at the time, so young, innocent, and unaware of the world. But since I received this in the mail, I would soon know all about Key the Metal Idol and Ranma, or at least know as much as you could learn from this book without actually owning the tapes. But we're gonna go through here and we're gonna order something. Yeah, might sound crazy, but we're gonna order something in 2024. We're gonna order some anime or manga or graphic novels or videos or music CDs or t-shirts or posters or more. Because after all, this is our one-stop source for leading edge Japanese comics, animation, and collectibles. I don't like that sentence, but we are still going to persevere. So let's open this thing up and see what we have inside. So we are greeted with Viz Media. Now, this is a Viz catalog, but they do sell tapes from other companies, and we're going to see that rather quickly. But you're greeted with these expensive box sets, $200 for the first season of Ranma, but you do get the video jukebox, so it's kind of a deal, right? I mean, you're getting 468 minutes of digital colored hi-fi stereo Ranma. Where could you go wrong with that? Or you get this other season of Ranma. It even comes with a bonus CD. Or perhaps the jukebox video by itself. That's only $15. I think most people could afford that. And if Ranma isn't really your style, you get the Fatal Fury box set. That looks like it has the OVAs and the movie for a reasonable price of $54.95. What a steal, what a steal. So tapes were a little bit more expensive than Blu-rays are now, and they're certainly more expensive than Crunchyroll is, but this is what you had to do if you wanted the real stuff. Over here, they're immediately promoting Key the Metal Idol as well. They have volumes 1 through 3. The whole thing isn't even out yet. And these tapes were $25 if they were dubbed, $30 if they were subtitled. That's the thing here, is that you're going to see, if you're unfamiliar with the scene, dub tapes were always a little bit cheaper and subtitled tapes were always a little bit more expensive. Now, for someone like me that was young at the time, I didn't even understand the appeal of a subtitled tape, so it was a no-brainer that when I could muster up enough money to get one of these things, I wanted the dubbed ones. Then we have Gray Digital Target, a series or movie, OVA. It's something. I still haven't seen it to this day, but I remember seeing it advertised in publications such as this. And then we have the 2 Galaxy Express movies. Those are classics. They're always going to be classics. They're always going to be part of fandom. Great to see them represented here. But what do we have on the next page? More Viz Media. We have Sanctuary the movie, a live-action movie that to this day I still have never seen, but $35 for that one. Maybe one day I'll check it out. I know there's a manga series of it as well, but it has to be good because it has graphic violence, adult situations, and mature audiences are recommended. It's got to be good. Then we have the Fatal Fury tapes on their own. It would set you back $60 if you bought them individually, so you might as well get the box set with Mai on the front. Then you have Please Save My Earth, you have Ogre Slayer, Mason Akaku, a lot of great stuff here. What's interesting about this is that all of these, of course, are older shows at this point, but this was all cutting-edge stuff at the time because now you get Crunchyroll and you get your shows right as they're coming out in Japan, right? But some of these might have been a little bit older at the time in some ways, but they were fresh to America, so no one really cared. Everything was new, everything was exciting. And speaking of new and exciting, oh boy, We had 2 pages of Ranma. 2 pages of Ranma. These tapes, 25 bucks for the dubbed ones, 30 bucks for the subtitled ones. Great stuff, great stuff. For the hard battle tapes here, they don't even advertise a subtitled option. Isn't that crazy? Ranma is a show that will always be a dubbed show for me because I grew up on it dubbed. I grew up on these tapes from Blockbuster and the couple of actual official ones I owned as well. You know, back in the day you would rent it from Blockbuster and you would do what they call bootlegging a tape. That's right. You would set up 2 VCRs, and if it didn't have a blocker, you had your own copy of Ranma. So these are the official releases for people that didn't want to do that or, you know, could afford it for the most part. Cover art's great on all of these. Super cool to see all these. And then you have some more Ranma. You have the OVA series here. You have the movies. I always thought the movies were pretty great bang for your buck because they were standalone stories. And that's for any series at this time. It was really important to get something that was standalone because these series were expensive to pick up on VHS tape and get the whole thing. So 35 bucks a pop for the movies seemed like a pretty good deal. You had a self-contained story. You could learn about the characters. Great stuff. And then you'll even see with this OVA, they even had the Laserdisc offered. You could get the English tape for $35 or the bilingual Laserdisc for $40. Great stuff, great stuff. That Laserdisc is actually worth a decent amount of money now too because there weren't a lot of American Ranma Laserdisc. It's just not a thing that happened very often. This one was put out on Laserdisc, I believe this one was. I could be wrong, but there's not a lot of Ranma on Laserdisc in America. And over here you have all of the versions of the first TV series on VHS tape as well. You have the dubbed ones, I believe. Yeah, dubbed ones, and then you have the subtitle collector's editions. I have this full set of the collector's editions. Very, very cool stuff. They were not cheap though. They were definitely not cheap. At 35 bucks a pop, not easy to get, but well worth it because the first season of Ranma is perfect. I would say it's perfect. Past that, you have some more Rumika Takahashi classics with Mermaid Scar and 1 Pound Gospel. People loved her stuff, just like they do today, but it was very much all the rage back then. And then you flip the page and we're in the Pioneer section, and they're coming in strong with some Tenchi. You got Tenchi in Love. You have the English VHS for 20 bucks. You have the subtitled VHS for 25. Or you get the bilingual Laserdisc for 50 bucks. I think that was the best use of your money because Laserdiscs are pretty awesome, but I could understand if somebody stuck with the $20 dub tape. It's almost like they really wanted people to buy these dubbed versions because they were the cheapest, and you know, it makes sense that we started to learn that soon enough, and that tradition has continued on. Past that, you have the OVAs, all 6 of them. You can get the dubbed tape for 20 bucks, the subtitle tape for 25, or the bilingual Laserdisc for 35. Pretty expensive to get all 6 episodes, and I know I sound like a broken record, but it was just an expensive time to be a weeb, at least in an official manner. People love fan subs for reasons. Sure, the quality wasn't great, but they were free, so you can't really fault people for that. However, of course, when these official ones came out, fan subs went away. I'm sure some fans didn't like that because it made it more expensive to get their series, but those that wanted to support the industry and have the best quality, I'm sure they loved it. Past that, you have the second OVA series. You have some of the specials like the Pretty Sammy stuff. And then you have the TV series. The English tapes for 25, subtitle for 30, and bilingual Laserdisc for 40. And the Laserdiscs for the TV series are pretty cool. They're kind of like mini box sets and very, very special. Very, very cool releases for sure. Past that, you have Hyperdoll and Moldiver, the series that somehow everyone ended up with at least one tape from. Nobody knows why. It was alright, I guess, but it was just everywhere for some reason. I don't know about you guys, but I remember seeing this thing everywhere. It was really just the VHS era. The DVD wasn't quite as prevalent, but the VHS tapes of Moldiver, they were everywhere. They were just all over the place. Everyone had it. Even your grandma had it. Everybody had Moldiver. You have El Hazar, you have Armitage over here, Green Legend Ren, pretty crazy stuff. And then you have some Pioneer Import CD soundtracks. Pretty cool stuff. I love anime soundtracks. To this day, I collect them. So this stuff is great to see. You have Chisa in LA, a live recording from the voice actor of Sasami. How great is that? $15.98, not too bad. The tapes were expensive, but these CDs were fairly affordable because past that, you have some other great CD selections, also for $15.98. Some Tenchi stuff, El Hazard, Moldiver. Nobody knows why, but it's there as well. Past that, you have some import CDs for 25 bucks each, except for the ones that are 30 bucks, like the Tenchi and Love one and the Tenchi Live Tour one. Lots of Tenchi. Whole lot of Tenchi. There's great music in that show, so it makes sense. Past that, you also have Armitage and El Hazard and Green Legend Ran. You'll see a lot of these franchises, you could own everything from it, but there just weren't a ton of franchises to pick from. But you could get the tapes, you could get the Laserdisc, you could get the soundtrack CDs. So they had you taken care of. Let's see what's next on our list. We have Central Park Media. Now this, when I was getting into otakudom, weebdom, anime worship, what have you, I remember looking at this company as kind of like, I don't know, the Dollar General of anime releases. I mean, they put out MD Geist, the legendary MD Geist 1 and 2. I wasn't super into this company in all honesty. They had some good stuff. Demon City was released by them. Slayers is great. Absolutely love Slayers. Project A-ko. Can't go wrong with Project A-ko. One of the most classic anime of all time. And they even had the Versus battles available, which apparently are in a copyright situation where Discotek can't get them. So good luck finding them in modern day on Blu-ray. These tapes aren't too hard to find. Still this day, not too expensive. But overall, I wasn't super into this label. Big Wars always looked cool, but I never saw it. Should I check it out? I don't know. Never saw it. The back catalog of some manga titles here, there's some good stuff in there like Iria and Region Z, but overall, Central Media, not really my jam back in the day. So what do we have next? What do we have on the next couple of pages? Manga. Now here's the thing about manga. I always thought they were a great company. They seem to go for quality over quantity, which is nothing wrong with that. That's what got them Ghost in the Shell. That's what got them Ninja Scroll. That's what got them Macross Plus. That's what got them Macross 2. That's what got them all of these things here like Giant Robo and New Dominion Tank Police. Manga was an interesting company because I feel that in the current landscape of anime, they would have done really well with social media because they didn't have a ton of titles, as you can see here, but it was all quality. Great company all around with some awesome releases. I don't have anything negative to say about them. And on this next page, we have some books here. This Complete Guide to Anime, I have that one. Manga, the World of Japanese Comics. I have that one too. I don't have this one, Dreamland Japan, Writings on Modern Manga, which of course would be vintage manga at this point. So maybe I should try to hunt that one down so I can have the complete collection here. Down here we have some books about learning Japanese. This one, Bringing Home the Sushi, an inside look at the Japanese business through Japanese comics. Sounds pretty interesting. Maybe I should try to find these one day. Sure, they can't be that expensive. Watch me say that and these things be like $100 a pop on eBay, but nonetheless, interesting stuff. They were already trying to diversify the scene even way back in the day. Here we have Viz graphic novels, and wouldn't you know it, Ranma. We have some Ranma, we have some Mason Ikaku, Rumika Takahashi was huge, we have Lum. These old Lum releases are really cool, by the way. They're just something about them. I don't know what it is. The packaging, the covers, something about these are quite awesome. I would love to hunt them down for myself one day. Never owned them, but I remember looking at them all the time when I saw them in stores. And one thing you'll notice too, because we've been talking about prices a lot, just to kind of backtrack here for a second, manga was fairly affordable, all things considered. $15.95 for most of the volumes here, $16.95 for a couple of them. This one Lum release was $19.95. Not too bad. Not too bad. So if you wanted to consume some anime or at least some Japanese content, the manga was a pretty affordable route, compared to the tapes at least. Speaking of affordable, Animerica, you could order back issues for $4.95 a piece. That was a steal, and they tell you what's on the cover. All bangers here, all bangers. Battle Angel Alita, Ranma, Oh My Goddess, Giant Robo, Tenchi, Dirty Pair, Sailor Moon, Galaxy Express, Key the Metal Idol, all kinds of crazy stuff here. I would love to one day collect all of the issues of Animerica. Maybe we'll get there, my weaves, but until that happens, I'm just going to fantasize it and talk about it here. 1 Pound Gospel, Roomic Theater, all kinds of great stuff. Classic releases here. But who cares about that? What's on the next page here? Battle Angel Alita. You gotta love that. There was a time period where there was an entire page dedicated to Battle Angel Alita, a manga and anime that unfortunately is somewhat forgotten now. I feel manga heads definitely know about it. Of course, there was that live-action movie a couple years back, but I feel that this is not a series that's brought up as much as it should be because Battle Angel Alita is awesome. There's only a 2-episode OVA series. I really wish they'd made a TV series or a movie or something out of it, but what we have is great, so it's a great series. Check it out if you can. Over here we have Nausicaa. That's pretty incredible that they dedicated a whole page to the manga well before it was a huge cultural phenomenon that it is today. Is it a phenomenon? I don't know, but I really like the movie. Manga's pretty cool as well, so great to see it represented here. Past that, we have more Viz releases. Sanctuary. Again, I've never checked this out, but I've heard good things about it. Sure, it's great. Crying Freeman. You know, the anime gets a bad rep sometimes, but it's a classic. It is a classic. There's some ridiculous stuff in it. Some absolutely ludicrous, over-the-top stuff, but it's a classic. Absolute classic, and it's one of those series that, to be fair, probably set some bad stereotypes for anime with all the adult content and whatnot, but I love Crying Freeman. I think it's a classic, and I'm happy to see it here. What do we have next, though? Who cares about it now? More Viz releases. Okay, so these are ones that may be a little bit shorter, maybe some one-shots, what have you. We have Samurai Showdown. We have a Cammy manga, Super Street Fighter 2 Cammy. That's pretty interesting. Didn't know she had her own manga. I remember this cover now that I'm looking at it, but haven't looked at this book in years, so that makes sense. We have Tenchi down here. We have Fist of the North Star. We have Guyver. Lots of great stuff. And again, the price is not too bad. $15.95 for most of this stuff. Some of it's $17.95. Some of it's $14.95. Not too bad to get your anime fix in the form of manga, perhaps. I bet a lot of people during this time read manga just because it was more affordable. And it's, I don't know, it's still kind of more affordable, at least in the physical media landscape today. Kind of. I don't know. You can get a Blu-ray set for a pretty affordable price, but that's a subject for another day. We still got more of this book to cover. So, Cadence graphic novels, I don't really know anything about this. I remember seeing this page when I was younger and thinking it looked kind of boring, and I still fall into that camp. Are these awesome? Maybe they are, but I'll never know with those covers. What do we have over here? Current releases. Okay, so we've been looking at manga that was released in the way that we know manga to be released, the traditional format of the books with all the chapters, but these were a little bit different. They broke up the chapters and released them in digest-sized comic books. A book not too different than this in size, but very much like a comic book you go see with Spider-Man or Captain America or whoever. And they released them. They broke them up. These things were $2.95 each, which at the time was pretty costly for an individual comic. Most comics were like $1.50, $2. And these were in black and white, but they were also related to anime, so they were well worth it. You have all the same stuff here that we see on the other pages. Ranma, Battle Angel Alita, Tenchi, Guyver, a lot of the same stuff. Again, you can consume so much of your media in different formats during this time period. But these were very unique, very, very cool stuff. But you just don't really see that too much anymore because we just get the releases of manga that have a whole volume included. But it was a different time. It was a different time. They were trying to get people involved. They're trying to get them so involved. These are all back issues for that same format. And again, same stuff. Battle Angel Alita. Again, Macross 2. That's pretty awesome. Ranma. All kinds of stuff. A lot of the same stuff. And then you have another page for America. They're repeating themselves. They're running out of gas because there just wasn't that much to advertise at the moment for commercial American releases, I guess. But everything was awesome and we valued everything, so you can't get too mad at them there. This here, manga Vision is it supposed to be like a play on Vision, but they put Vision. I don't really know. I didn't come up with this. Not good marketing. And back in the day, there weren't YouTubers to tell you how to pronounce this stuff right, but this was a monthly series, kind of like Shonen Jump, that just bundled a bunch of mangas together that they didn't feel probably the most confident would do well on their own. Stuff like Ogre Slayer. An interesting concept. You could order the back issues. I'm sure this was some good bang for your buck, so I'm sure some people bought it for that alone. And on the next page here, we have a whole page of CD soundtracks. Something I love. We have some great stuff in here too. Akira, You're Under Arrest, New Dominion Tank Police, Mega Zone 23. Come on now, some true bangers in here. Robot Carnival, Macross Plus, great stuff. Great stuff. All these are great. I'll just take them all. I'll take them all. I'll send in my form, and I'll tell them that I'll take them all. I'll send it into the fax machine, because I definitely have a working fax machine in 2024. Here we have some anime and manga merchandise, and by anime and manga merchandise, they mean a whole page of Ranma. You have some Ranma shirts. You have some Ranma collectible pins down here at the bottom. I believe we saw these in the Animerica episode, and I still stand behind the fact that I really want to get a set of these one day. So if you have a set, send them my way. Over here we have some Ranma soundtracks and then some limited edition prints from Sanctuary and a Lum one. I would have loved that Lum one. $24.95 doesn't seem too bad. Why is everything $95, by the way? I guess they want you to think you're getting a deal, but cool stuff. Nonetheless, I would love to have these Ranma soundtracks. I don't have those specific ones. I do have some Ranma soundtracks, but maybe one day I'll get these American releases. Who knows? Maybe I will call them by phone and order them right after this. I don't know what I'm going to be doing after this. You don't know what I'm going to be doing after this. We could be doing anything. And here's the final part of the book. This is just telling you how to order. You can call this toll-free number or this local number. You can fax your order in. You can send it in the mail, but do not send cash. Don't send cash. They put it in bold. Shipping was $4 for your first item, $1.50 after that. What else do we have? What else do we have here that's interesting? Please allow 2 to 6 weeks for delivery. That's a pretty long time compared to Amazon Prime today, but again, different time, different rules. And this right here is very, very interesting. If you are ordering certain items that are 18 plus, such as Devilman, such as Ogre Slayer, such as Midnight Eye Goku, such as Crying Freeman, you've got to ID yourself, right? Now, we're not talking about super adult stuff, but we're talking about stuff that they want you to be ID'd for. So, what they want you to do is to include a photocopy of the following: your driver's license, state ID, or passport. That sounds shady. That sounds super shady, but people were willing to do a lot for their anime. And there you have it. This is the catalog. Viz Shop by Mel. It's a little bit different than today, where you can just stream it on High Dive or Crunchyroll or Amazon Prime, or perhaps you can buy the Blu-ray on Amazon Prime or buy the Blu-ray on Crunchyroll. But since most people couldn't afford to have everything, you really cherished what you had, and you really loved it, and you lived with it. Even if you got something terrible, you had to try to learn to love it, and that experience is gone today with the instant gratification of streaming. Is it better today? Absolutely. There's no way to argue that. I would never say that I would long for a time like this, because while the community aspect seems like it was awesome and everything was a little bit more unique and special, and that might be something that's missing today, it is better being able to get the stuff quicker and easier and in better quality, and not have to wait for fan subs and not have to send away stuff and hope that you don't get ripped off and hope that things don't get lost in the mail and wait 2 to 6 weeks. I think anyone would be hard-pressed to say that they want to go back to that completely, but there are some things from this era that were very unique and very cool, so I understand why people are nostalgic for it, but just remember, you honestly probably do have it a little bit better now. But all of that doesn't matter anyway, because I'm going to order from this thing. That's right, I'm going to order from this thing in 2024. Will I get anything in the mail? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
One eternity later.
Well, I fired up the fax machine, and in 2 to 6 weeks, look at what came in the mail. The second Ranma movie, Ni Hao My Concubine, on a glorious VHS tape. That's right. I'm so excited I got this thing. You know, it cost me about $40 with shipping, and I finished up watching it in an hour's time. But you know what? It was great. I loved it, and I'm ready to do the thing again. But you know, they included something else in the box, and I think we finally solved a mystery. Yeah, they had a note included that said we couldn't get rid of these Moldiver tapes, so yeah, that's how everybody ends up with these things. They order Ranma, and they just send this to them as well.